Hi guys, today has just been such a stunning spring day. The weather has just been absolutely fantastic. I've actually been at a market, farmer's market all day. I just got back and I was just having a look around, checking everything over, and I thought it would be really nice to take you guys on a little field tour and show you what we've actually got coming on. There's quite a lot of stuff coming on now. We took some tulips and daffodil mixed bouquets for Mother and Sunday this weekend. That was our first lot of kind of cut flowers to the market, proper ones. We've been taking some few like just little bunches of daffodils and stuff, but that was the first kind of mixed bouquets that we've had. This is the first year I've had tulips early enough to use for Mother and Sunday, and that's because I grew some in my little tent. So I'll show you that in a sec. So I'll start at the top of the field and I'll literally just work my way down the field and show you exactly what we've got growing now and what's going to come on and what we should start seeing to flower in the next few months and so. This is what I call my propagator, and you can see the heater at the back there. This is a long heater. That heater is kept at 12 and that will drop a few, so it goes down to 9, back up to 12, and that's kind of really good. I take them straight off the sandbed, put them in here. It's just a nice in-between temperature before fully hardening them off. Gives them a chance to get a little bit bigger, a bit stronger before I harden them off. So most of these seeds have been on the go since early February. Just to give you a little rundown, we've got some Status, some Feverfew, some more Status. So one of these is peach and one of these is white. Those two colours are grown just for drying actually. And then I've got a bit of Florist Deal, some Snapdragon Madam Butterflies. These are Mallows. Not sure which colour though, but they did really well for me last year, so fingers crossed to do well this year. These are Lobelia, which will just be for selling. Then we've got Rebecca and Rebecca. Got a lot of Rebecca this year. More Rebeccas. These are marigolds. These are just selling French marigolds. And then we've got some, not showing it very well, sorry, some Chinese grasses. So these will all stay in the propagator for a few days till they're a bit bigger, a bit stronger, and then they'll get moved down to the big greenhouse to harden off. So this is the glass greenhouse. I did a video on this a week or two ago about taking the wire off. You can see the gladiolis are just getting massive now. The daffodils that I planted around, they've come up and flowered lovely. They're the ones I've been taking to the market mainly. This is my 4th crate of sweet peas. These were the smallest ones, but they're beginning to put a bit of size now. And then this is a stand that we made a couple of weeks back. So yeah, all the broad beans are coming up. Everything's quite dry today. It's been extremely sunny, so yeah, I'll be coming out in a minute and doing a bit of watering. So yeah, all that's filled up and looking lovely. I have to say, it is all beginning to burst a bit into life. So this, excuse the weeds, is Sweet Williams. And this is under a low tunnel. Last year I lost most of my Sweet Williams due to the wet. So yeah, I put them under a low tunnel this year and they're looking much healthier. So that's great. Okay, coming down the field, we have the tent. So in here, we have some Canterbury Bells cup and saucers. I find these a bit big for the cut flower bouquets, but I'm really trying to focus on just getting some earlier things, and these are meant to flower quite fairly early, so I thought we'll just put a small amount in and see how they do. And I have to say, like this one here is going to be really big, so hopefully we've got a good amount of flowers. Now along here we have tulips with daffodils around them, and another crate of tulips with daffodils around them, and these are the ones that came up early enough. You can actually see some have come up and gone over, but yeah, this is what we used for this weekend and they looked really good, and we've still got quite a few. There was nearly, I want to say I planted probably 250 in each pallet collar, so about 500 inside the tent. And then here, how exciting is this? If you see my other video, you would have seen me say that I've been trying for 3 years with no success, but we have an anemone. we have 2 anemones. It's very, very exciting. So these were meant to be planted in the crate, which I did show in a different video, and I never got around to really fixing that crate. I kind of ran out of time. They were getting desperate to plant it. So I've planted them in these crates that I had. I put a little bit of cardboard in the bottom. They don't like to be too wet, so I'm hoping that'll be okay. I saw it on Instagram that someone else had done it, so I thought, well, we'll just try it and see. So there's 24 plants, 12 in each. Maybe that's a bit close together, but we'll see. Actually, there's a 3rd one. So exciting. Okay, back here we have some Icelandic poppies. First time I've ever grown some. So I did direct sow some in this border. However, they didn't germinate. And the ones you're seeing in the border, I put some seeds going in some kind of like short, fat, 9cm kind of size pots. And they came up fine. So they've been in my greenhouse all winter, and I've just recently planted them out, but they're looking good. Now the sweet peas, we have 12 plants here. Last year I planted 14, 8 in each, and it was too overcrowded, so I went back to 12. These are beginning to put on a bit of size. Maybe they're a little bit behind, but they were a little bit late getting planted out because I had the mouse problem, so we'll see. Here we have freesias. This is the first year growing freesias. We've got about 60 plants in there, and they are beginning to come up, so I'm kind of excited to see what they do actually. They're looking good. And then here, I think I only showed you, sorry, I'm wobbling, I'm just losing my balance. I think I only showed you the one lot that I planted, but I actually the week later planted a second lot of stocks. So one is lavender and one is pink. So yeah, these are actually beginning to put on some really nice size, especially the ones that I planted out first of all. They're getting quite big now, so yeah, fingers crossed they're going to come up. I don't think they're going to be that late either. I think they're going to be okay. I think I'm filming at the wrong time of day because the sun is really harsh at the moment, so I do apologise. But these are the irises. If you saw my first video, I was taking the wire off. If I just come down here, you can just see how big they are now. The narcissus that I plant around them, they're all beginning to bud up as well. But the irises have they are just massive. And I really need to get some netting on these because they're going to get a bit too big in a minute. Yeah, they are looking great actually. This border had around 2,000 tulips planted, and if I come down lower, they are not looking good. The top end here aren't looking so bad, but you can see here exactly what I thought this year might happen because it was just so wet. It looks like it's happened. I have a whole load down the other end that I just pulled out. Tulips are a massive financial risk as a cut flower farmer. They cost so much money, and if you get a really wet winter like we've had, for me it's such a high risk. See, like here, they're not great. So I'm hoping there'll be some survivors that we can use in some bunches, but if I'm being honest, it's not looking pretty. And I really was relying on these guys. I took on 4 extra shops last year. You can see here I just pulled all of these out because they were looking so bad. So yeah, I really needed these guys so that I could get back to the shops, and you know, the shops obviously expect me to start providing them as of April. So yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm going to have to try and buy in from a wholesaler or whether I can just make do, whether my gladiolis are going to come through and come early. Yeah, next couple of weeks are going to be a bit tense. Moving on to the next border. These are, honestly, now this is twice the amount that I normally plan, but if you come down here, because it's very sunny, you're not seeing it very well, but you can see there's purple leaves, and this is just a massive indication that the plants have just been too wet all winter. Like I said, this is the driest part of the field, and for most of the winter that is meant to be a path, and that was just water. Yeah, this has, I think, probably been one of the wettest years on record. But the top half up here, there's a bit of purple leaves, but they're beginning to put some size on, so I am hoping we'll get something. Like I said, I planted double to what I normally do, so I was hoping for extra, but if I get the same amount, I should just about be okay. So then we come on to the sweet rockets. These guys have put on a nice bit of size. You can see, again, some have struggled with the wet, but there's enough here, enough big ones, that I'm not too worried. These are going to be okay, I think. We've got some really nice big ones here coming on, and here. It just has been so relentlessly wet. You can see here, but you can see that he's trying to put on new shoots, but you can see he's struggling because the leaves are small, and they are struggling. But you know, we've got like another really nice big one here. So I'm not too worried. I think we're going to have enough good stuff. This is twice the amount I normally plant, so I think that should be okay. I think there was about 50 in here that I planted. I think we've lost a couple. This section here was just a little rough area that's very overshadowed, and I actually just chucked in a load of old spare allium bulbs. I didn't know what to do with them, so I kind of just chucked them in this area, and you can see they've just gone berserk, which is great. So I decided to extend it this year and just add in some more. Yeah, why not? This here is a whole load of spare tulip bulbs. I went to plant something and suddenly realised I had about another, I think it was nearly 600 tulip bulbs. And I was like, oh, don't know where to plant them now. So yeah, just planted them in here. And these, because these were planted really late, because I found them late, these are looking better. But the issue I have is by mid to end of November, I start really focusing on my reefs. So these were planted, I think, just before I did reef making, whereas the other ones were planted probably the beginning of November. So maybe just that couple of fortnight has just made a big difference. So these here are the new peonies. I'm really chuffed with these. Look, these are coming up nicely. So we've got bowl of cream, raspberry sundae, top brass, but they're all coming up, so super chuffed with that. What's that? Pink. Something another. Oh, I think it's like a Sarah. Yeah, they're looking great. So these are in their first year, so you know, obviously this year you just cut the flowers off, you don't really let them do anything, and probably next year as well, and then I'll give them probably 2 years in these buckets and then get them planted out. And then these are the direct sown nigella, which are looking pretty good. Pretty chuffed with them. So yeah, I think they will flower fairly early. Okay, so this is the big greenhouse, where once the seeds have hardened off, well, half hardened off in the propagator, they come down here to fully harden off, and then I start picking out. So I tend to, once I've picked out, everything tends to go onto the second shelf, so that it's not so stressed with the sun. And then as they get stronger, they move up to the top shelf. So you get like a constant kind of rotation is the plan. Here we've got some straw flowers. So these are for me, these are the cut flowers. And here we've got some pink pokers. Now I got another tray of each that will be going on next week. There won't be a big tray like this, it'll just be a little half tray. So this will be like my first round. This will probably be 2/3, if not 3/4 of my stock. And then I'll do a little small amount that's just a little bit later. So hopefully that will just keep a few stuff flowering right into the end of September for me. These are petunias, these are for selling. These are some spare violas. Down here you can see I picked out violas. It's just a few spare. If I did lose any in the first few days, I tend to, if I've got a tray and I've got a bit of space, I will tend to keep the spare. Down here as well is the bright colour status. These are a little bit limper than I would like. I think the greenhouse has maybe got a little bit hot for them today. They only got picked out Wednesday. So they had, unfortunately, they had that bit of cold, and then it's been really hot today. So I probably didn't time that very well. Probably didn't look at the weather good enough for them. These are spare sweet peas to the ones that are in the tent, and I'm going to put these on into 1 litre to keep them going. This is Dactyus, which is actually really behind. By now, I'd expect it to be in the ground. I was very late sowing it, and it didn't put on any size over winter, but it is beginning to try now. So you never know, it might catch up a little bit. Then we've got autumn sown snapdragons. The first tray I did wasn't very successful. they just didn't really germinate. I've got like maybe 8 plants of them, so I put these going. So these didn't get going until the end of October, so they're a little bit behind. They need pinching off, but they are still bigger than the spring sown ones, so they will still come a bit earlier. And then down here, I'm very excited for these. These are Orlea, which I've never been able to get to germinate, and these are looking okay. I kept them down here today because they're quite small, and I didn't want them to get stressed out with the sun. We just haven't had any sun, so I find like when you get a day like this, sometimes the ceilings just get really stressed out because they just don't know what's going on. And then down here we've got some larkspur, and these are looking really good. These are going to go in the low tunnel, and these are near enough big enough to do that now actually, so in the next week I'll probably get these planted out. And then these are more of those sweet peas. The mice haven't got at them since we put them on the metal stand, so that's really good. These are some delphiniums, autumn sown. They're coming on. So yeah, there's some good things, there's some bad things. You know, that's flower farming for you. But all in all, we've got a lot growing. The tulips are disappointing. They're a real worry. They could actually be a real problem for me, so I'll have to see. But all in all, I think the field is looking pretty good. With the perennials and the stuff we're growing at the top. Seeds are all looking lovely. Everything's coming on. I just need the weather to dry up a little bit so we can start getting the field prepped and ready. So as much as this looks bad, I could come out and probably weed this whole section in 2 days. Easy. With doing other bits as well. But yeah, 2 days, get it back on track. So I just need a few dry days, come out, prioritize the weeding, we'll be back on track. At the stage that this all is now, I'm not concerned. I know that when we get a bit of dry weather, I can do this. I can get it back under control. But this is not how I like my field to look. I like it to look tidy, and it's all a mess. It's driving me crazy. So yeah. My brother actually nicknames my field Stepso and Sons Cut Flower Patch. I think that's a bit of a joke for the older generation, but yeah, he's quite mean to me, really, but he does help me. So yeah, that's that.